One of the interesting comments that came out of the town hall was O'Brien saying how they couldn't do it financially in reference to re-signing DJ Reader. When you look at who they are paying next year, though, David Johnson over $11 million, Whitney Merciless $12 million, kicker Kaimi Fairbairn $4.75 million. Is the real reason they couldn't get that done because they've overextended themselves on way too many other players?
Mixed bag. I mean, David Johnson is the sore thumb that just couldn't stick out any worse. A devalued position in recent years in terms of what you're willing to commit. And they're paying more than $10 million to a guy who hasn't been a good player for about 3 years now. I'll cut O'Brien's slack on this one. I think the Bengals overpaid for Reader, who's not a every down force. He's not much of a pass rusher, though for an interior guy, he's certainly better than what the Texans have without him. So if they made a coherent decision that he's good, here's where we value him, but we're just not going to 4 years, $52 million. But that they apparently offered him $6 million per year, because the Texans, I mean, at this moment, they're still top 5 in the league in current cap space. Now, if they get a Tunsil deal done and knowing what's to come with Deshaun Watson, it's kind of an artificial top 5. But in this whole window of free agency, they've been at worst top 10. So if they decided Reader was worth the money, they're paying more for David Johnson and Duke Johnson, David Johnson's backup, than they would have paid for DeAndre Hopkins, than they would have had to pay for DJ Reader. So, yeah, it's a very disjunctive claim that, well, times are tight under the cap. When you have created a ridiculous cap situation at running back, asset allocation, I think is the business world term. Texans asset allocation, while not an overall mess, in these specific cases, mess.
Eagles needed a wide receiver. Texans were looking to move one. How tone deaf is it for O'Brien when another team doesn't want to make a deal in which they would send out a lot of draft equity for a player with whom they would need to promptly negotiate a top of the market extension, which is literally the exact situation the Texans are in with Laramie Tunsil?
Brandon, capital T, capital E, capital A, capital M. Every move that's made is designed to improve the Texans team. Yes, in contrast to every other team in sports, we try to make moves that, maybe they'll work, but if not, it's really not much of our goal. The Eagles, I imagine it didn't come up. Well, did you inquire with the Eagles? How about the Vikings? The very specific example, they trade Stephon Diggs to Buffalo, get a number 1+ in return. Was there contact with Buffalo? The Bills were offering you something better than what they got from Arizona, even if not the full haul that the Vikings were able to extract. It just seems as if it was ineptly negotiated and executed at every time.